Good day guys, my name is Lord Tomo. Welcome again to another Sonic the Hedgehog toy item collect review. As you know, I'm Lord Tomo with a good old blues to you, Sonic the Hedgehog. Throw him aside and bring out the cutest, most ultimate life form out there. Just look at him. You cannot be scared of him, even if you want to, cow spee your butt. This is from a range by Tomy. So Tomy is the manufacturer of this plush itself, and it is in this one it's called the Shadow Super Deformed Plush by Tomy. So Tomy is the official, for now, well, I'll say for now because you never know, the official partners of Sega, and they make a lot of they manufacture a lot of Sonic Boom items, which I think is phenomenal. And they made a range where it's literally the Super Deformed, where they grab the heads of the characters of the Sonic universe, make them big, and the body exceptionally small, as you can tell. So Wave 1, and for those who want to check out these reviews, please check out my channel, but Wave 1 has Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Dr. Eggman. Wave 2 has Shadow, Amy, Styx, and Orbot. So I hope they make the other ones like Cubot and various other characters. Maybe if they made a Metal Sonic big head version, that would be awesome. But yeah, so this is the Shadow the Hedgehog plush for it, and there's a lot going on in this plush, more than meets the eye, and I will cover them. And there's a lot of nitpicks that I personally have, which I will cover as well. So without further ado, let's go into them. So you have his big head, which is the main gimmick and the main feature of this plush line. Small body, big head. That is why it's called the Super Deformed, because you'll never see this in any other game. And if they did that as an Easter egg, I would love it forever. Now, unlike other manufacturers, aka GE Entertainment, they tend to basically have like eye-impressed eyes and mouths. Tomy, on the other hand, went out of their ways to actually stitch the eye sockets. So I don't know if you can really see that on my cam, but essentially the whole eye, including the pupil, including the inner pupil to give it the fullness, is all stitched, which is absolutely phenomenal attention to details. The fact that they even did that would probably take an extra while, especially from a mass manufacturing point of view. They also did it for the mouth, which gives him that broody, angsty sort of look to it, like I'm a bad little boy. Don't laugh at my poor intimidation of a kid. But yeah, you have his brooding smile, and that's phenomenally stitched, and I thought that was an attention great to detail. They even went out their lengths to actually basically do a full stitching of the outer eyelid of his eye sockets, which I thought was pretty impressive, to say the least. It is what it is, and I am gobsmacked by the level of attention to detail. They encapsulated his face figure perfectly, as well as the other features of the body, but I like to think they did a little more attention to detail to the head, because it is technically deformed. You have his nozzle, which is of course his mouth, and that's extremely well, phenomenally stuffed with whatever they put inside it. I don't know, polyester probably, or cotton, I'm not 100% sure, and it gives it that 3D isometric look. So it's not flat, it actually pops out, which is how it is more or less on the game itself, which I thought was great. Now you have both his little ears, extremely well detailed. Now this is the slight nitpick I have. I'm not 100% sure if this is going to happen on all the shadows that ever been released, or if it's just exclusive to mine and it's because of quality arrangements. But there is not enough stuffing on one of the ears, and there is enough on the other ears. So it doesn't detract from the overall look of the character itself. I just would have preferred it. So it's more of a nitpick than an actual defect, if that makes sense. It's kind of like a preference. So it is what it is, and his head is phenomenally well stuffed. On the actual top, you have of course his red marks, and of course if you go further back on his lower spikes, you have his more red spikes, and on the actual side you have him kind of basically protruding forward up to give him his shadow-esque look, which I thought is great. Now I don't know if you'll notice this, but his two outer ones protrude up, whereby his inner central one protrudes down, which is pretty much plays true to the actual character design itself. Bonus points for that. And of course you have his back, which gives him his two little spikes, which kind of gives him more of a chow vibe than anything else. And of course you have his little butt. You have just like a piece of material, which is his tail. Awesome. And you have his big butt, extremely well stuffed. So his overall head design is superb. I cannot fault it in any major conceivable way, other than nitpicking it purely out of preference. There are small things I would have preferred them to do, but we'll get them to shortly. Of course you have his chest, which he's known for, because a man of war cannot live without his chest there, and that's literally just a material placed on top of it. So it's an interesting thing. It's a material that's part of his chest, so it's not a material that's on top of it. Does that make sense? So it's not like that material is on top of it and you can take it off of your choosing. If you wanted to get rid of, I'm not saying you should, but if you wanted to get rid of his chest hair, you need to rip off his whole torso, and then just destroys the whole thing, which is not what you want to do. Both his hands are clenched in a fist of power, which is adorable. They are material based and they pretty much all one piece, so they're not pieces upon pieces, which has its effect, and I'm quite impressed. So you can see the grand attention to details, just the lines and the firm attention to just how symmetric that looks. And if you go down there, it's just a material flapped over, black stitching to give it more or less his finger design, which I think it does well for the actual design. I'm not going to expect individual fingers, simply because in this series it is a super deformed head, not super deformed hands and head, you know what I mean? So it is, so this is exactly the same as the actual other fist. So it's, there you go, and there's his superb stitching, and there is his marking. Now of course, if you look across it, the stitching doesn't match 100% on side to side, you know what, and which isn't necessarily, here's a better example, show him. So it doesn't line up 100%, so I guess for those who are nitpickers, they'll probably, you know, find a bit annoyed by that. But of course he's mostly at the back, so you won't be able to see that. The other grandioso thing that I love is his actual shoes. Look how adorable he is. He just wants to kick your ass, but you know he's not going to because he's so small. So phenomenal. Once again, I know I'm just beating a dead horse by saying this as an analogy. Attention to details, all the markings are superb. It is purely a material base, so it's not like a material on top of a material, so you get, it is what it is, and it carries over all on the other side. They of course just break his legs. It doesn't 100% align. That does bother me slightly, but I'm sure with the manufacturer chain it is what it is, and on the other side it matches more or less 100%, whereby this one doesn't. So it's more or less a quality assurance thing than anything else, but I don't think it takes anything away from the plush itself. Now there is of course criticism that I do want to cover, simply because it's purely things that bother me. Now other manufacturers, for example GE Entertainment, they add like a string. That string is designed so you can hang it up, so it basically gives it that full effect. Now not all plushes need that, and that's perfectly fine because not all of them require it. I thought this one definitely needs to require it, simply because if you sit him down, yeah, I'm sure you can see it. Both bottom halves of the actual shoes are not covered in any forms of details, like the little hoverish pads that he normally has when he runs, right? That bothers me because that detracts everything. So everything looks great, but when he's sitting down, it's just like two red marks and it just takes it. Now I would have preferred if you had a string, for example, you can have him standing and that would look so much better. Now I wouldn't have mind if they didn't have the string, but if they added attention to details to the bottom halves of the shoes. So it's kind of one of those give and take situations. Now if they decide to make something in the future where it addresses either or, I would probably pick that up, but if they don't, this is the best we have from the big deformed heads series. So that's something for you guys to look at, especially from that design. So I don't know how 100% I'm going to have it, you know, displayed, but yeah, you can see how annoyed I am by that, because yeah, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just a nitpicky person. You have of course these little tags there, which it is what it is. Now this is the second thing that annoys me. This is more of a nitpick than anything else, but it's one of those things that's always bothered me from any plush lines really. They have the massive hashtag, or the little obligatory like little stringy hashtag on his ear, right? Now depending on how you have it displayed, it doesn't take anything away from it, but I'm just thinking, why do you have it as big as it is? Now my theory is it's meant to basically be an attention sort of sign, saying, hey look, I'm part of the Sonic series, please buy me, for little kids, because kids like things big and bright and all that sort of stuff, which I get, but I'm seeing it from an adult collector's point of view, and I know I'm not technically the demographic that they're aiming for, but you know, this is my opinion, so take it or leave it. Like I said, this doesn't detract anything away from the plush itself. It doesn't at all. What I'm mentioning is more of a nitpick. I would have preferred this maybe to be smaller and to be on the actual side there, so it detracts. So from a collector's point of view, you won't have to rip it off, and it will be out of the way. It will be less intrusive. But it is what it is, and you know, being the person that I am, I'm probably never going to take this off because it's what I do. But yeah, now the other thing that kind of bothers me, but it shouldn't, because I know why they do it. You have a character which is Sonic the Hedgehog, but in this case it's called Sonic Boom, to promote, of course, the cartoon, the game and everything. And you have at the very bottom, which is Shadow. I would have preferred that if they had Sonic, but maybe a small picture of Shadow so people know. But I guess this is more or less for people who may not necessarily know Shadow, and say, hey, look, parents, you know Sonic the Hedgehog, your childhood hero? They like it too, and this guy's part of the universe, you know. So I get why they do it. It's just nitpicky itself. Now, how much does it cost? It cost me, I think, something back about $15 to $20. Mind you, I got this in a massive order with various other stuff, so it didn't necessarily come out cheaper. It just came out slightly cheaper for shipping to Australia, because, you know, Australia, we have nothing here. The land of dangerous spiders and snakes, and yeah, we can't even bring these little things over. I'm sure they are sellable. I'm sure they do sell them here in Australia. It's just I can't find them. But yeah, it is what it is. It's a little. It depends on your definition of pricey. I think it's perfectly reasonable price range, 15 to 20 for a plush that I think is unique and special and is really well built. Some people may say it's too pricey. Some people say maybe the cheapest thing alive. Really depends on how much money you have, how much money you're willing to spend, and all the fun stuff that associates with that. I think this is a phenomenal series to get into, especially for somebody who does, like me personally. I don't collect plushes that much, even though my channel seems to state otherwise. It's not necessarily my go-to things for anything. It's just, you know, I'm collecting more plushes down the track, but it's not like something it's like a priority for me. So for me to, this is my opinion, for me to say that this is a good line to definitely pick up and have in your display, I think it has, you know, bearing within itself. But that's just my 2 cents on the whole matter. I'm sure you may agree or disagree on that. Totally up to you. Now, in terms of rarity, you can definitely pick this up anywhere in the US. I'm sure in the UK and in Europe. In Australia, I can't speak. I got this online on toywiz.com. Shipping's a ride. If you buy a lot, shipping's expensive. You buy 1 or 2 items. I'll put their website down there. I'm not sponsored, but I'll put their website in case you want to buy this. Amazon, eBay, it's definitely there. I've seen it. I'm sure you can purchase it in Target or, you know, Toys R Us or any of those places out there. Rarity 1 star out of 10. You can definitely pick them up anywhere. But yeah, guys, tell me what you thought of this. I actually love this line. I actually love the line, and I actually love this plush. Look at him. He's so fat and chubby. And guys, thank you for checking out this review. Speed on. Take care. Until next time. Peace.